Hey YouTube, it's Crypto One Step, come to you guys from the Crypto Cave. I recently started writing a bunch of articles, and while I was writing articles I came across this platform, PUBLISHOX, no relation to ZeroOX. It's still in its beta stage, but its incentive and engagement mechanism that it uses is pretty unique for rewarding users and bloggers alike. And it's a great way for individuals to monetize their time, whether again you're reading or writing. So there's a little something there for everybody. And the topics we're going to be covering today include a simple platform overview. I'll show you guys how to make money by reading and writing articles. We'll go over some of the pros and cons. There's actually an active bounty in place. And then I'll conclude by talking about the future outlook of the platform itself. This is the website itself. As you can see, there's a variety of topics to choose from as a reader. However, most articles written on the platform are going to be crypto related. And that's evidenced by the fact that if you look into the popular tab, most articles, if not all of them, are crypto related. But as the platform grows and the stigma around cryptocurrencies is overcome, I think a lot of the crypto skeptics will flock to platforms like this and steam it. And you'll see more articles published about the other topics that aren't crypto related. Now, before I dive into how you can monetize your time here on the platform as a reader, let's take a look at my dashboard real quick. This is the other thing I really like about the platform, is that you can consolidate all your blogs onto a single platform. So there's no need to create multiple websites. You can actually publish multiple blogs on a single platform. The Crypto One Stop is my main platform. I created this in Mach 1 just to illustrate the point that you can create multiple blogs. And so to get started, all you really need to do is go here to dashboard. And when you click post, you just have to submit a simple application that involves submitting, some of the work you've done in the past or a link to the work that you've done in the past. And they review it and they get back to you shortly. The reason they're curating the publishers is because they're in beta stage and they want to make sure that malicious actors or people who aren't going to be publishing, good quality articles are kept away from the platform. As you can see down here, here's the tokens that they support. So when you're getting tips or you're giving tips, they're given and received in the following tokens: the Project Hydro, DAI stablecoin, and the basic attention token. Their plan is to remain crypto agnostic, meaning that in the future you could very well see the coins appear or some other coins also being supported on the platform as well. Now that you've gotten a brief overview, let's talk about how you can monetize your time. As a writer, you can write articles like I've done, and you can see here in the last 3 days I've gotten $2.06. Now it's great that you're given these cryptocurrencies and you're able to monetize your time fairly quickly. The only downside to getting paid in cryptocurrencies is that they can depreciate rapidly in value, but the upside is that they can also go up rapidly as well. It's sort of blunted with DAI here, which is a stable coin, which should blunt some of that effect, but nonetheless, you do have BAT, which has gone from 10 cents to 50 cents and now is worth a little bit less than 20 cents. And you can look here, this is the article that I wrote for the website, and it seems like it's been received pretty positively, getting $2 worth of tips in 3 days and 250 views. That's not bad. But now let's talk about how readers can monetize their time. Let's take a look at popular. And let's take, I wanted to read a little bit. I've been interested in investing in ontology. Let's take a look at that. Now, if you want to tip this article, all you need to do is go down here at the bottom after reading it, and you can choose how much to tip. You can allocate as little as 20% to the author to a maximum of 100%. So let's suppose you read the article and you think they've done a pretty decent job, but you're not thoroughly impressed by it. And maybe you want to go down the middle somewhere here. You know, give them, just go 50-50 on it. So you go down here after, you know, creating your account, you go down here. So what they do is they get these tips from a pool that they've created. And in the future, they hope that, you know, projects will donate to this pool. But they take tips out of that pool, and all the users are allocated a little bit. And so I can go ahead and click here on tip. I've received 0.14, and this Rumi individual has received 0.14 as well. Now, if I wanted to make another tip, I would have to wait another 24 hours because they don't want individuals just tipping left and right indiscriminately, because that's not going to help with curating the material that's put on the platform and rewarding the appropriate author. And so that's all you have to do. I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but, you know, like I said, these tokens have price appreciation potential. Also, you're not really doing too much. I mean, you're doing things that you normally would do, right? So you're essentially getting paid for a daily activity that you're already engaged in. But it's simple as that. That's all you need to do, and you've monetized your time here on the platform. Now that we've gotten a brief overview and you guys have learned how to monetize your time, let's go ahead and dive into the pros and cons of the platform. So here's the list of pros and cons I've created. As I mentioned earlier, you can earn tokens that may appreciate in value. So, you know, BAT's worth less than 20 cents today, but who knows, in the future it could be worth $1, $10. There's less competition for tips and followers. So if you're a good quality writer, you're not going to have to compete with a lot of good quality writers because many of them aren't here yet. And so you're going to be competing with people who are maybe up and coming. And so if you're a decent writer, you could probably easily outcompete your competitor for tips and followers. Early adopters typically benefit the most. So if you're starting early on the platform, a lot of the perks tend to be given out early on. And if you can take advantage of those perks, you'll benefit much more in the long term than someone who, you know, joins the platforms when it's more successful. They're having a bounty at the moment for raising awareness for BAT, but I would imagine that's just the first of many to come. Lastly, you get paid to read and write. And so if you go on some of these other platforms, it's really difficult for you to monetize your time. Here, it's relatively easy. So, and also as a writer, you know, you can get paid relatively quickly rather than waiting days or, you know, months to monetize your article. Now, there are drawbacks to using a platform like this, given that it's new, it's in its beta stage. There's a scarcity of relevant articles. As I mentioned before, you know, most articles here tend to be crypto focused. So you'll have to wait a little bit before they get authors who are writing about a variety of topics or topics outside of the crypto sphere. The quality will be diluted initially. You know, it's going to be hard for them to get good quality writers early on, but that also means that for a short while, the good quality writers will be diluted by the bad quality writers. So there might be, or maybe not bad, but mediocre, up and coming authors. And so there's a chance that a lot of the good quality material will be diluted in the beginning. But if the platform does its job and the appropriate authors are allocated the tips, that'll help them gain popularity, and we can upvote some of the more popular ones or the better quality ones, and maybe not pay so much attention to the poorer quality articles. There's less exposure for authors. So unlike some of the larger platforms, you know, you don't have a big audience. There's not a big market share here on the platform. So if you're trying to gain exposure, it might be challenging for you to do that on this platform initially, at least. Tokens earned may depreciate rapidly. So the other side of, you know, the tokens, the argument for tokens appreciating in value is the possibility of them depreciating. Imagine, you know, you writing articles when BAT was worth 40 to 50 cents. And then you got paid tips, and today those tips are worth less than half because the token's trading for less than 20 cents. So for those of you who are trying to immediately extract value out of the platform, it may be a little bit of a challenge for you given the volatility of a lot of these cryptocurrencies. Now, the last critique I have of the platform is that you're not able to choose your token payout. I mean, it would be nice to choose which token you wanted the payout to be in as an author, rather than them choosing sort of a default crypto for you or a basket of cryptos. I mean, even with the basket of cryptos, I wish they would let you allocate certain amounts. Like let's say I want to get 50% DAI and 50% BAT. That would have been nice, but it's understandable given the fact that they're pretty young and they're using their own money. So that's something that they could potentially improve on in the future as they become more successful. Now that we've covered the pros and cons, let's talk about the bounties. So here's a web page for the bounty details. I'll leave the link in the description below. But as you can see here, there's a prize pool and there are instructions for or rules for the contest. And even if you're not a publisher, what you could do is you could just sign up by clicking this link here, and then they'll go ahead and approve you right away so you can start writing or participating in this contest. I personally think it's very cool that they're doing this, and I would imagine that this is just the beginning, and then you'll see more bounties in the future with larger pool sizes or larger reward pools. But this was started about, looks like 5 days ago. I think it's a great way for the Brave token team to get some publicity and get people marketing for their project. And it's a good way for writers and people who are perhaps interested in the project to get rewarded for their knowledge and sharing that knowledge with other individuals. So it's a win-win for everybody. And as an author, let's say you don't even win one of these large prizes. Perhaps you're second or third, or maybe you have a knack for marketing and you're able to get a lot of people to tip you. So even if you don't win, you'll still benefit from the engagement model here on PUBLISHOX. Personally, I'm very optimistic about the platform. I like the monetization model. I think it has a lot of potential, but it's not going to be easy for these guys. They do have a lot of competition. I mentioned Steam earlier, but there's also the platforms like Rise, DTube, Mithril, YouNow Props, and many others who have a similar model and that are crypto focused. But I do think that it's great for all of us as publishers and readers alike, because we can choose what platform or ecosystem that we want to be a part of. And the models that are more democratic and that do their best to make sure that the people who are actually engaged in the ecosystem benefit from it, the ones that share more of the profits with the community, I think those are going to inevitably win out. I mean, the traditional models of the legacy world where you had multiple competitors and a series of consolidations, and then you just have these huge giants that monopolize markets, I think that era is gone. I think this is a rise to a new era where you're going to see not just one big platform, but you're going to see a myriad of platforms out there that are more decentralized and that are more profit sharing than some of the larger corporations, which tend to just keep all of the revenue that they generate. In fact, with the case of Facebook and some others, they actually took your private data and sold it without informing you. Activity like that makes me kind of suspicious of a lot of the larger companies. So I think this is great because it'll help keep them honest. It'll help keep each other honest, because if they're competing with one another, we're not at the mercy of one single large platform. We'll have options, and we'll have a way to opt out if they do anything that's against the interest of the community. Well, that pretty much wraps things up. Make sure you subscribe and like. I also have a Twitter and Steemit account for you guys to follow. The link's in the description below. With that being said, this is Crypto One Stop signing out. See you next time, folks. Bye.